everybody. Welcome to the energy of Cancer. This is a very nurturing, loving, caring energy. We have a new moon in Cancer on Saturday, the 10th of July. And Cancer energy focuses on our homes and our emotions. We are currently being impacted also by difficult aspects between Saturn, Uranus and Mars, as well as Eris and Pluto. How best can we manage our fear? What about our anger? Many are feeling very angry right now and frustrated by rules and regulations. What can you do to deal with those very strong emotions? Taking care of the body is a good start. Preparing for worst case scenarios is another way to be prepared for potential tough times if they come our way. And I've got some suggestions. An astrological chart provides a roadmap for life. And I'm having lots of fun providing little books for newborns, using their astrological charts to provide information for their carers so they get the best possible start in life. So now let's talk about the new moon in Cancer. At the new moon, expected on Saturday morning here on the Gold Coast, it's usually a good time to make plans for the month ahead using the strong Sun-Moon energy combination. In this case, we're also dealing with very strong planetary energies. And globally, we are witnessing more and more unrest in relation to this health crisis. There are many who do not accept that the agenda being promoted by those in positions of power and authority. There are also many folk who are compliant with the directives. We have a clear split here. But we all have our emotional responses to manage, whether it is fear or anger or frustration or anything else that we might feel. I hope you're not numb to your feelings because they're very useful in helping you manage your life. So let's talk briefly about Saturn, Uranus and Mars. And now, all this year, there is a slow-moving square aspect between Saturn in Taurus, Saturn in Aquarius and Uranus in Taurus. And this conflicting energy is with us until the end of this year. But it's particularly evident at the moment because it has been energized by Mars in Leo, which squares Saturn in Aquarius and opposes Uranus in Taurus. Now Saturn represents the status quo and those in positions of top-down power and authority. We have rules and regulations which we're expected to follow. Some folk are compliant happily or otherwise, but compliant nevertheless. Others are clearly not happy, and while many of those simply comply and conform, there's a cohort who are angry and who want to display their non-compliance. This is the Uranus energy. Uranus is the maverick energy which says, no, I want to do things my way. No matter which camp with which you identify, ask yourself, how am I feeling? And so in this energy in Cancer, the focus is on our emotions and our homes. Is it time to modify your home in any way? Coat of paint, new soft furnishings, clear out unwanted pieces of furniture, clean the windows. I did that last week. Reorganize the pantry or your clothing or the garage or whatever. Pay attention to how you're feeling. maybe you just need to take time out, maybe a short walk, or just sit quietly in a good feeling space to allow yourself to focus on how you feel and take the actions inspired by how you feel. If you are fearful of the big bad world, and I don't blame you if you feel that way, it is scary and evil to many. How do you manage that fear? Understand that our body stores our emotions, and if we don't deal with them in a constructive way, we can then enable the seeds of illness to fall. And this illness may not manifest immediately. It might just fester and develop and not manifest for years to come. Ask yourself, what are you fearing most? For many, many people, it's death. Very common. So then ask yourself, what is it about death that you really, really fear? Is it pain and suffering? Is it missing out on the growth, development of children or grandchildren? Is it simply missing the aspects of your life that you simply enjoy? Take the time to examine your answers and ask yourself, why are you so fearful about what it is you're fearful of? On another level, do you have a spiritual aspect to your life? What do you believe happens to you when you die? Is that comforting to you? Now, there's no right answers, as we all have a unique perspective on this aspect of life. But by analysing the reasons for your fear, you may be able to manage your response and feel a little calmer. I can recommend my yoga class in the energy of Cancer, and I'll put the link in the notes below. And if death bothers you, and it bothers lots of people, I recommend getting hold of some of Elizabeth Kubler-Ross's books on death and dying. She was a doctor, a medical doctor, and she came to appreciate the spiritual aspect of life because she worked with so many patients who died of various illnesses. She has interesting things to say about how people feel and how people respond and how relatives respond around the dying space. What if you're angry? What's really making you angry? Is it the restrictions on your movements? Is it the inability to travel? Is it the control? How dare they control you by those in positions of power and authority? Is it 5G up there somewhere? Is it the vaccinations? Is it your partner? And is it that your partner and you have different views about the future? Now, ask yourself how you can use that angry energy in a constructive way. Anger is not a bad emotion. It's just how you manifest it and how you express it that can be the issue. Can you band together with like-minded folk and mount a petition to your Member of Parliament, or whichever your Member of Parliament, whether it be the state government or the federal government? Should you join or create a protest group? Should you find out more information? Should you write or phone members of Parliament or other members in positions of power and influence to express your view? Or should you simply take a deep breath, go for a run, a walk, a swim, a bike ride to dissipate that anger so that it hurts no one else? Resist the temptation to take that out on another living being, the dog, the cat, your partner, your children, or your parents. Remember that as humans, we have the unique gift of having a space between the provocation and the response. We can make a conscious decision about our response, and we could even have no response. According to astrologer Pam Gregory, we are now facing a fork on the road. We need to make some decisions about how we move forward. Saturn energy is conservative. Stick with what we know. On the other hand, Uranus is offering us opportunities to try something radical and new. Are you game for that? Saturn is what we have outlived, and Uranus is showing us a new way. Just know that everything will be okay, and we are capable of managing whatever it is we choose. Humanity needs the energy of Uranus to change. We can't continue to stay stuck in the Saturn pattern, otherwise we wouldn't evolve as human beings. So what choices do we have in this mad, crazy world? In all this chaos, it is important to pay attention to that which we can manage and control. And remember that our bodies are the vehicles for our soul. How are you caring for your body? Are you drinking enough water? In this winter time, it's easy to drink less, when in fact you still need 6 to 8 glasses of water per day to keep your cells hydrated. And if you're in the Northern Hemisphere, it's even more important to keep up your water intake. What about your food? Are you eating the right food for your body? Are you eating at the correct time of day? Many wise yogis try to consume their food within an 8 to 10 hour period, so that there's a period of 14 to 16 hours when there's no food intake, to allow the digestive system to have a rest. The yoga class in the energy of Cancer contains a bandha sequence, which really is valuable in helping aid digestion. What about how much you're eating? Should you eat a little less? We probably could all eat a little less. And maybe we could benefit by reducing our intake by just 10%. You probably wouldn't notice that. But keep up your exercise regime. It may be walking, running, biking, canoeing, swimming, yoga, gym, or something else, whatever works for you. Remember, we need to keep the body moving to support a healthy circulation and heart function. Okay, so now what about the future? What does the future hold, Evelyn? Well, I'm not a seer and I'm not a prophet and I'm not a psychic. I don't know what the future holds. And I don't want to alarm anybody, but I keep getting information that suggests that we may have food shortages and possibly difficulties with fuel supplies. If you want some more information, please get in touch and we'll have a long conversation, or even a short conversation. The pragmatic part of me suggests that you should store up food for yourselves so that you could feed yourself and maybe your neighbour if necessary for about a month. We have my housemate and I have also invested in extra bottled water should we have issues with water supplies. Store dried food that can be cooked with water, and I'm suggesting lentils, dried beans, chickpeas, rice, pasta. Think also of root vegetables and pumpkin, which have good long shelf lives. You keep them in the dark and they'll stay good for quite a while. And there are many different sorts of potatoes around, which make for variety. Be aware that if there are power supply issues, food in the freezer may not be edible and cooking may not be possible if you have electric only. I'm investing in a gas bottle with a camping attachment on which I can cook if I need to. Oh, and please, don't go overboard with the toilet paper. You can't really eat that. I've previously mentioned growing some veggies. So find some pots or some dirt and grow some greens and herbs. They make dried food taste more interesting. If it comes to that. I don't think it will, but you know, it's much better to be prepared than to be scrambling for food. At any event, stay calm, because fear excites the limbic brain and creates unnecessary anxiety. Now the jab. Some of you have already had a jab. Many of you are still undecided. Some of you decided they're not going to do it at all. Whatever. I believe that we have the right to choose what goes into our bodies. And we also need to respect each other's choices. This is a free will earth, although at the moment that seems a bit of a fantasy. For those who are undecided, while you do your research, you might like to consider the perspective of these two men. There's Mike Yaden, the former Vice President of Pfizer, and I'll put a link down below for you. And there's also a European scientist called Geert van den Bosch, highly qualified from universities in Europe with a long career in science. And he's presently serving as a biotech vaccine consultant. So both of these guys have good credentials and they offer a different perspective. And so when proper research involves seeking more than one perspective, it's important to have a look at information that is different from what is being promulgated by our people in positions of power and authority. Sometimes it's difficult to find alternative views on the internet as so much of information is being censored. So if you want some more information and you want to have a chat about your options, I'm happy to chat with you and provide some more information. Just let me know. Lastly, I'm having lots of fun producing little baby books. Thanks to a suggestion by my daughter Laura, I can now provide beautiful little books for newborns. In the book is a horoscope, for the child and an analysis of the chart. This perspective is that of the carer for the newborn soul. Every child comes into this world with different needs. And if as a parent or carer you can meet those needs from an informed perspective, it makes that early childhood experience so much easier for the baby and also the carers. So who do you know who would like to provide a different gift for a newborn soul? Let me know. Lastly, be mindful of what you tell yourself, because you may be right. Remember that energy follows thought. Enjoy your time in Cancer. I'll see you next month. Bye for now.